What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Ticker Fee video and welcome to the Ticker Fee family. As you can see, the ticker symbol we're going to be talking about today is TRCH, or Torchlight Energy, and the analysis is going to be on the update on the proposed business combination timing with metamaterial, as well as how inflation is affecting our stock and the market. And then we're going to finish this video off with the chart analysis and price prediction. So if you're here for the first time, welcome to my channel. I like to talk about the products and the services that some of these companies provide, from small cap to large cap. And if you're here continuing to support me, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so before I actually read the article, I just wanted to look at the chart real quick. So this article came out on 5/3, so this was just yesterday. So as you can see, we've got a red body, which means that it closed lower than what it opened up at, so we're not surprised. I mean, Torchlight Energy Resources seek the extension of the stockholder meeting in relation to the merger with metamaterial. And then what happens? 12% down on the timing of the metamaterial deal. This is a big deal, so let's actually read the article and see specifically why it might have tanked a little bit. Okay, so Torchlight provides update on the proposed business combination timing. On May 3rd, 2021, Torchlight, which is an oil and gas exploration company, announced that Torchlight and metamaterial have agreed to extend the date by which Torchlight must give notice and call its special meeting of stockholders, the stockholder meeting, in connection with the previously announced business combination transaction with metamaterial, to May 10th, 2021. Now, Torchlight and metamaterial also agreed to extend the date by which Torchlight must hold the stockholder meeting to June 11, 2021, and the outside date for arrangement to June 18, 2021. As you can see, I've highlighted this. Now, Torchlight is waiting for the SEC to clear its preliminary proxy statement in connection with the stockholder meeting and the arrangement, which is most recently filed with the SEC on April the 21st. Now, Torchlight believes that the agreed extension will provide enough time to clear the definitive proxy statement with the SEC, set a record date for the stockholder meeting, and mail the definitive proxy statement to Torchlight stockholders of record as of the record date. Okay, so the other thing I want to point out is, yes, Torchlight Energy and metamaterial are combining to merge, but the thing is, it's all about metamaterial and the technology that they have, as well as when you own Torchlight Energy and metamaterial, you get dividends, so it's a major deal. So all this information is a catalyst that's going to affect the charts. But what I want to point out is, as you can see on March 15, 2021, it says Torchlight provides update on the proposed business combination timing. Then you go April 15th, Torchlight provides an update on the proposed business combination timing. Then now May the 3rd. And so you can see, as a retail investor, it can affect us because it keeps getting pushed out further and further and further. So this is a big deal. This is why you have retail investors trying to figure out what's going on. All right, with inflation and the effects of the stock and the market. So the growth sector was down today, continuing this teasing pattern. It's going on with the growth stocks. You can just see it. Now, the short-term traders themselves are winning the majority of these trades, and that's what's been going a lot in the stock. Now, during the pandemic, household has been their cash are at record levels. Now, Americans have these saving rates, right, that have continued to stay high. Now, more Americans are slowly spending money, and what is happening is that you're seeing prices go up. Now you are paying for the more basic items that you weren't a year ago. Now, rising consuming prices are in this US chart, which you can see. So the percentage change is an average unit price versus previous year, which is the latest 52-week period ending April 10th, 2021. So groceries has gone up 2.6%. The household care has gone up 5.2%. Baby care is 7%. And then you've got general merchandise, which is going to be 7.1%. Now, also, you're going to be able to look at is going to be the U.S. retail gas prices. Now, with that, if you look at this chart, the gas prices are going from $1.88 to $2.96. Now, a year ago, there was a lot less demand due to lockdowns. Now, when demand completely comes back, you will see that the gas price increases even more. Gas has rose 9% in March alone. Now, if you actually look in California, you'll see with gas prices, it's actually around $4 or even higher, which is pretty crazy. Now, when it comes to cars, used cars prices soar and the sticker shocks may get worse, which is not a surprise if you've bought a car here recently, especially according to this article. As well as if you look at home builders, the cost of material has skyrocketed. So cars have a record demand but limited supplies due to the supply chain issues. And then if you actually look at asset classes such as stocks, home, cryptocurrencies cost more than they did last year. So the question is, why is it happening? So there is a massive supply chain issues. There's the delay of shipments due to the pandemic with trade. People are going to go out and start spending their savings, which is going to make an option or an opportunity for deflation. Now, if it goes back to pre-pandemic, you will start seeing money flowing around, which is going to be great. Now, look on how the inflation is reported. If you compare April 2021 to April 2020, it appears more inflation. Now, April 2020 was in a deflationary environment. Now, when everything is starting to pick up, numbers appear worse due to this comparison. Now, here's the thing. If you actually compared 2017, 2018, and 2019, that creates a better picture. Now, probably seen that a lot of our articles have hyperinflation, and they are printed on a ton of money. So, obviously, you'll have to see there are these articles that show 12 warning signs of U.S. hyperinflation. So, this is one of those articles. Now, what I want to show you is that there is a massive inflation according to these articles, but banks save more money during inflation and they don't distribute out to the public for liquidity, and that is only needed during a crisis. So inflation is not bad. Hyperinflation, that is where the feds will increase the interest rates, which requires someone to take on more money and more risk. Now, high multiple stocks will go down dramatically during a rapid hyperinflation. Now, a lot of these stocks have factored in hyperinflation, so you're going to as well see that in the stocks. But most value stocks are increased from pre-pandemic highs. Now, during the summer, we are going to see the growth rates go up and up on these growth stocks. Okay, so as well as I want to point out when it comes to inflation or the inflation scare, look at all these articles from 2009 all the way to 2018. You got inflation scare, crazy but real. My inflation nightmare. Inflation, a high price to pay. So as you can see, through these years, clearly all these stocks have continued to rise and people have been making great profits. But when you look at these articles, you can see that there are people that are trying to put fear into it. So I wanted to point this out, because not everybody notices this, especially if this is the first time or the first year that you're going into buying stocks. Now, let's actually look at the chart and finish this video off with a price prediction. Okay, so I've been stressing on my videos, if you haven't seen in the past few, but there are a few things that have been affecting the charts on a volatility level. So I'm just going to get right to it real quick. So the first thing is going to be the retail taxes or retail investors. So you're saying, well, what does that mean? Why are you telling me about capital gains? Well, here's the thing. If it's your first time buying stocks and actually making profits and you're rolling up on having to pay taxes, you actually might end up selling some of those stocks in order to pay those taxes. Now, most people understand, yes, there are capital gains. But again, if this is your first time and you're making tons of profit, now you see, oh my gosh, I've got this big tax. I mean, it's something to think about, because you are going to see a lot of these retail stocks that it's really popular is going to get sold due to having to pay for taxes. Now, another volatility reason for what's been going on in March and April is going to be the financial reports. So we know these past 2 or 3 weeks, you can see that there's a lot of large cap or blue chip companies like Microsoft, Tesla, Google as examples that are giving their financial results for their Q4 or their annual reports. And depending on what that is, and if your stocks are in those sectors, you're going to be affected by it, no matter what. Even if you are small cap or large cap, you're just going to get affected by it regardless. Now, the other thing is going to be the hedge funds. Now, everyone knows, and I feel like that's the one thing that everyone understands. You've got the hedge fund companies that have constant pressure and stress that's affecting their decisions, especially when it comes to politics. They're looking at the politics and seeing what they can do to try to change things, work with lobbyists and whatnot. So you got to keep that in mind, because with the taxes, with the corporate taxes that possibly can go from 21% to 28%, that's a huge gap. And so that's a 7% gap, as well as people that make over 400,000 or more who are retired. It's going to make them not want to be in the stock as much. Now, I don't think it's going to do that. I think it's going to be 25% or less if it passes, but we're going to have to see. So there are so many factors that affect the stock. So don't just look at some of the information that you see or hear. Look at all the other variables that are possible. Now, when looking at our stock, personally, you can see that we've had some green bodies. So you can, on April the 21st, we had a green body with the wick that grew a little bit, and so we had a volume of 3 million. And on that day, it opened up at $1.45, and it had a high of $1.63, and it closed at $1.55, which is great. We closed higher than what we opened up at, which is always going to be a great thing. So if we actually back up, you can see we've had a support and a resistance that's pretty equivalent, but it did actually grow a little bit, which is good due to some of the catalysts that we've been hearing. But because of the latest news that we just heard here recently between 528 and 53, our stock has gradually dropped a little bit. Now, even though that is being shown on the charts, I still think when this merger happens, especially with the technology that metamaterial has, which is phenomenal, and they have great fundamentals, it's not going to affect it in the long term. So please keep that in mind, because those dividends are going to pay off, and the stock as well. So I'm looking at Q3 and Q4. Now, even though it is in only at roughly $2, I'm thinking at Q3, Q4, I actually think we're still going to be looking up at around $3.30. So we'll have to see if there's any other catalysts that take place. But the resources with the extension of the stockholder meeting, especially with this metamaterial deal, is going to affect the chart. So keep that in mind, because this is going to be a short-term situation. But in the long term, I think we're going to get more volume and less resistance, more support, which is going to help us out for this stock to grow. So I hope this was extra added value. I really do appreciate it. I put a lot of time into this, hoping that this updated information will help you make the decision that you need. I am not a financial advisor, but I do appreciate you listening to this video, and welcome to the Ticker family.